Breaking tonight at 5, the Madison Metropolitan School District is helping dozens of displaced students after one city schools closes its program to 9th and 10th graders.
Plus, a new warning to pet owners as dog flu continues to spread across shelters in several southern states.
And remembering a dark day in American history, 2 years after the attack on the Capitol. What's next in the investigation into how it all started? You're watching News 3 now at 5. Wisconsin is moving a bit closer to passing medical marijuana legislation.
That is after the Republican Senate leader says his chamber is close to an agreement on a bill. Political reporter Will Keneally has more. Will?
So it's a little bit of a surprise. The state legislature hasn't made any moves on medical marijuana for more than a decade until it had one informational hearing on the matter last year. And for Democrats, this news today has been a long time coming.
I know that the most dangerous thing about cannabis in Wisconsin is that it remains illegal.
Senate Minority Leader Melissa Agard has been pushing for marijuana legalization for a while, and she was optimistic this week when we spoke with her about whether it will come around this session.
Now, the majority of Republicans in the state of Wisconsin support legalization, and it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's going to be a matter of when and really what the details of that policy are.
Democrats perennially push for this legislation. The governor usually adds full legalization to his state budget proposals, and he mentioned it in his inaugural address.
We must have a meaningful conversation about treating marijuana, much like we do alcohol, but we can't do it alone.
I think it's time to start the conversation.
Senator Mary Felskowski has been one of the Republicans at the forefront of pushing for legalization. She got a hearing for her bill last year, more than a decade after the last time a similar bill got a hearing. She said back in April that the key will be how the state decides to regulate it.
I think it's how we're going to structure it as far as who's going to control, how it's going to be taxed, how it's going to be regulated, who's going to be able to prescribe it or recommend it, and then what conditions are limited, because we do limit the conditions that it can be utilized for.
And Agard says this will keep Wisconsin on par with its neighbors.
People are spending their hard-earned Wisconsin dollars in other states in order to have access to legal cannabis. We are behind the 8 ball here in the state of Wisconsin when it comes to cannabis reform.
So we reached out to Felskowski's office today about the news, but she was not available. Any marijuana legalization will also have to pass the state assembly, and Speaker Robin Vos says that he's open to some forms of medical marijuana.
Will, thank you. Let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast now. Julian Seawright is out on the weather patio. Julian?
Well, another cold night is on tap for us here in southern Wisconsin, especially in Madison, but now it's just when are we going to start to see these clouds really clear up for us? It's slowly but surely starting to clear up here in Madison. We are looking for some breaks into that low stratus deck, but overall we are going to be holding on to that cloud cover for a little longer, especially as we close into the overnights. Now, taking a look at outside, we do have some spots in some of those breaks. You can see as we try to have a little bit of a sunset, but overall it's still rather cloudy. Now, looking ahead, temperatures themselves are going to continue to fall into the low 20s as we near into the midnight hour, but it's going to get even colder. We're looking for tonight to be around 16 degrees as our low here in Madison as we get into the overnight hours, and many of us are going to be following suit into the middle and lower teens. In some areas to the far northwest are going to be into the single digits. So it's definitely going to be a very cold night once again for us here in southern Wisconsin, but hey, this is January in Wisconsin for us. Now we'll talk more about what else to expect for the weekend, because when can we see that sun? We'll break that down for you in a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
All right, Julian, thank you. An update now to a story we first broke last night. The Madison Metropolitan School District is opening an emergency enrollment center for families who are impacted by one city school's decision to close its programs for 9th and 10th graders. The charter school's decision will impact about 51 students who will transfer into the Madison School District after closure on January 20th. The district says the announcement was not expected. They told News 3 yesterday they had just heard about it yesterday afternoon. The district had a meeting for families this morning, sharing its plan to open the emergency center. You'll find more information online right now at channel3000.com.
New today, Governor Evers plans to issue an executive order that would ban TikTok from all state devices. A spokesperson for the governor confirmed the ban will likely come next week. The decision comes after a recent push from several state and federal lawmakers in regards to the app's security. The social media platform has the potential to allow the Chinese government to collect Americans' data.
Emergency departments are getting a lot of visits right now related to opioid overdoses. UW Health has been following the trends and is sharing its own findings relating to emergency medical care.
Our Catherine Merck spoke with a UW Health physician about how those national trends compare to what they're seeing here. Catherine?
Not all non-fatal overdoses result in a trip to the emergency room. According to the CDC, they think that because more people are coming to the hospital, there's also more overdoses in emergency departments nationally. UW Health's emergency departments estimate that 583 people got care here for an opioid overdose in 2022. That's actually a decrease from a yearly high of about 631 in 2021, which followed 2 years of increases. A UW Health physician who specializes in addiction says one of the reasons people could be calling for emergency care less at UW Health could be because they don't want to get in trouble during an overdose situation.
It could be that people just aren't feeling safe calling 911 because we hear a lot from our patients that they're really afraid of calling 911 because it could lead to criminal charges, could lead to incarceration. So we do have concerns that that could be contributing.
The doctor emphasized that these kind of deaths are preventable. She often says that the opposite of addiction is connection, and that being aware of the help that's available to drug users is the first step in bringing some of this data to a better spot.
All right, Catherine Merck at the News Center tonight. Catherine, thank you.
Republican leader Kevin McCarthy is moving closer to becoming the next Speaker of the House. Congress decided to adjourn until 9 o'clock tonight after a 13th round of voting failed to elect a Speaker. McCarthy has made some progress, flipping 14 of the 20 far-right Republicans who had voted against him. After some backroom deals were made, he still needs a few more votes to gain the title. News 3 Now spoke with UW La Crosse political scientist Anthony Chergosky about the latest developments in the speakership race, and here's what he had to say.
There's a general sense among members of Congress that Congress is broken. They are correct to say that Congress is broken, but people disagree on why Congress is broken, and they disagree on the potential fixes. And many members of the House Republicans are using this very competitive speaker's vote as an opportunity to try to gain concessions from Kevin McCarthy, try to gain promises from him about how he might reform the House of Representatives. And so he's got to kind of buy off people here and make promises to get the math to add up to a majority vote.
You can follow along with the latest updates after the House reconvenes on channel3000.com and tonight on News 3 Now at 10. New details have emerged in Idaho, providing more insight on the murders of 4 college students.
Ivan Rodriguez shares the latest and tells us what's next for the case.
For the first time in months, a probable cause affidavit released Thursday shows what led investigators to arrest Brian Kohberger.
This is clearly an event that was well planned out.
According to court documents, phone records show the suspect's phone was near the residence of the 4 University of Idaho students at least 12 times since June. Trash recovered from the suspect's family's home that was tested for DNA, also matching a tan leather knife sheath left behind at the crime scene, laying on the bed of one of the victims, according to the affidavit.
I think they have a pretty strong case just based on that. At least circumstantial. They still don't have a murder weapon. It'd be great if they found it.
One of the roommates who was not harmed told investigators she heard crying in the house that same morning and a male voice saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." According to the affidavit, the roommate also saw a masked man dressed in black in the house and walking towards her.
I think she was just scared, very scared.
Steve Gonsalves is the father of Kaylee, one of the students who was killed. He says the suspect was stalking and hunting them.
He was just a person looking for an opportunity, and it just happened to be in that house. And that's hard to take.
Nearly 2 months after the killings, more questions remain. Investigators haven't said publicly if the suspect knew the victims. It's unclear why the unharmed roommate didn't immediately call 911, and the motive remains a mystery. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Koberger remains in jail without bond and will be back in court next week to enter a plea.
Scientists are warning a new Omicron subvariant may be the most transmissible one to date. It's called XBB.1.5, and new CDC data shows cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are trending upward. About 1/4 of Americans are living in high COVID counties, and the CDC is urging indoor mask wearing in large cities like New York, Miami, Boston, and Fort Worth. Experts say the #1 thing people can do is get the latest booster.
New bivalent vaccine, this is the new one that we updated in September, does seem to provide a good degree of protection against infection and terrific protection against serious illness.
U.S. officials are also concerned about the growing COVID crisis in China. They say the lack of information sharing makes it harder for the scientific community to spot new variants as they emerge.
So far, Wisconsin has been spared seeing any cases of dog flu, but experts are warning that could change.
Tahlil Moadine joins us to share why veterinarians say they're keeping a close eye on this highly contagious flu. Tahlil?
Eric and Susan, the first thing experts want to make clear is when it comes to canine influenza, there's no reason to panic, but dog owners should be paying attention. The H3N2 flu has already spread across several shelters in the southern part of the country. Experts say, though this latest strain of the dog flu is less likely to make dogs severely sick, it's still highly contagious and can be deadly to some older dogs or ones with underlying health conditions. They also say it's enough that you may want to consider talking to your vet about getting your dogs vaccinated.
To assess the risk of your dog. You know, if your dog lives in your house and goes for a walk around the block every day and never interacts with other dogs, it's probably a low risk. If your dog goes to doggy daycare, goes to dog parks, travels with you across country, the risk is very different.
Vaccines, however, do have some limitations because they require 2 doses, take about a month before they kick in, and don't stop infection. Tonight at 6, we'll have more on what precautions the Dane County Humane Society says they're taking to keep the animals in their care healthy.
Tahlil, thank you. Julian has our weekend forecast. That's next at 5.
Plus, lawmakers pause to remember those we lost in the January 6th Capitol attack 2 years ago today. And later, a local coffee company is teaming up with a nonprofit to help people build sustaining careers. We'll tell you how you can help tonight at 6.
And the weekends with strong numbers on Wall Street, a 700-point jump for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The NASDAQ gains 264. The S&P 500 adds 87. And we'll be right back.
Your last chance to ring in the new year with a new appliance from Furniture and Appliance Mart. Save up to $700 on Frigidaire packages. Washer and dryer pairs start at $10.99. Over-the-range microwaves start at $229. At Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley off the Beltline in East Springs Drive.
Wisconsin. It's easy to take for granted how we warm up. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? For many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safe in your home. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
Bag sale, 15% off. So I was thinking we could fix up a few things around here. New cordless drill, so we can finally hang those pictures. LED bulbs, that'll help with the electric bill. Picked up some toothpaste for us. Always need batteries. New coat of paint for the mudroom. And finally, something to unclog that basement sink.
The bag is back. Hurry in and get 15% off everything you can fit in the bag now at Menards.
I became an orthopedic surgeon for a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons. To help you take walks again. To ease your pain.
To rebuild your strength.
And at every step along the way,
we take the time to answer all your questions.
We're here because we care.
We care about you. You.
You. They care about me.
Sauk Prairie Healthcare Orthopedics, now offering robotic-assisted knee replacement.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Call right now to find out if you qualify.
Call 1-800-336-0524. 1-800-336-0524.
It's your last chance to ring in the new year with new styles from Ashley. Right now, save up to 85% off furniture. Plus, take an additional 10% off when you spend $2,000 or more. And free platinum delivery, ending soon at Ashley.
3 are on the ballot for mayor of Madison. Naomi Cole sits down with the candidate Scott Kerr as he prepares for the race ahead.
And dog flu is on the rise. How will this impact your plans to adopt a furry friend? Tonight at 6.
News 3 Now's Call for Action team gets results.
We're taking action for you.
Nearly 700 cases closed, more than $500,000 recovered, and we're not finished yet. When you need help, call for action only on News 3 Now.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Lawmakers paused today to remember a dark day in U.S. history. 2 years ago, a mob of rioters staged a deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol.
5 officers were killed in those riots. 140 officers were seriously hurt. Deborah Alfarone reports.
Members of Congress gathered to mark the second year since the U.S. Capitol insurrection.
Brian David Sicknick.
The names of 5 officers who were lost as a result of the tragic events were read, and another officer who was killed at a Capitol checkpoint.
Officer Billy Evans.
A moment of silence followed in tribute to the 140 officers who were seriously injured defending democracy.
We will never forget their sacrifice, and we will never forget this day.
We the people honor U.S. Capitol Police Officer Caroline Edwards.
At the White House, President Biden honored some of the officers there that day. He also recognized election workers who became targets of harassment and local officials who affirmed the results of the election.
We honor a remarkable group of Americans who embodied the best before, during, and after January the 6th, 2021.
There were few arrests on January 6, but the FBI moved fast, seizing cell phone records and compiling thousands of hours of video in what may be the most documented crime in U.S. history. At least 950 people have been charged so far, nearly half of whom have either pleaded guilty or been convicted.
These people are not going to take it any longer.
Former President Trump could also face charges after an 18-month probe. The U.S. House January 6 committee referred him to the Justice Department for prosecution, alleging he incited the insurrection. Trump denies any wrongdoing and has already launched his campaign to run for president in 2024. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The estate of U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who died a day after the riots, is suing former President Trump for wrongful death.
And Senator Tammy Baldwin released a statement on Twitter saying, quote, "We all have a shared responsibility to honor those who defended the sacred transfer of power, protect our democracy against future threats, and ensure this fateful day is not forgotten."
Let's get a look at the weekend forecast now. Here's Julian Seawright. Julian?
Well, starting things off with our Friday evening, we are still dealing with that stubborn cloud cover as the low-level stratus deck is still just encompassing much of Madison and southern Wisconsin itself. But we can see just areas to the west, it's starting to clear off. So if you're near Grant or Vernon County, we're not looking at too much cloud cover, but areas just around Dane County and to the east, we're still dealing with that stubbornness. But it will look to clear up as we get into the rest of the night. Now, the moisture for the cloud cover in itself is still coming in from this upper level trough, which is going to continue to advance its way into the eastern side across Lake Michigan. But for the weekend, well, we are finally going to start to see a bit more sunshine, especially as we get into our Saturday afternoon. We are looking for mostly sunny skies. Temperatures near 30 degrees, but around 31 is what we're looking to stick around. So it's going to be seasonable for this time of year. And for Sunday, we're going to be a bit more mild. We're seeing the mid-30s stick around for us. It's going to be partly sunny, so a bit more cloud cover will start to stick around as we transition into our Monday. But here's a look around southern Wisconsin as we get into tomorrow. Temperatures will be bouncing around the 30s throughout many of us, but walking through the rest of this evening, well, folks, be prepared for another cold night here in southern Wisconsin. We're going to see those lower 20s by the time we get into the midnight hour, but as I mentioned, the cloud cover itself will slowly start to clear up. We are looking for some back and forth of that cloud cover, especially as we wake up for our Saturday morning. Around 7 o'clock, could start to see some clouds, but it's going to be dissipating once again as we get into the noon hour, and plenty of sunshine looks to stick around throughout much of the area. Now, getting into the rest of the evening hours, well, we're going to start to see the afternoon won't be too bad. Into the lower 30s, just a tad, a bit, or a degree closer to the freezing points, but overall we're not looking for it to be unbearably cold as we get into the rest of our Saturday evening and heading into our Saturday nights. Now, cloud cover will start to build once again as we transition into Sunday, and we will start to see a bit of that cloud cover stick around for Sunday morning, but we'll start to see some breaks once again getting into our Sunday afternoon. Now, taking a look for next week, we are going to be entering a quiet stretch of weather with abundance of sunshine and temperatures just above average. With that, though, we are going to be looking at next week, close to Thursday and Friday, another system that will be our next weather maker. Rain potentially mixing in with some snow going in for Thursday into Friday. This is your first warn from the First Warn weather team. Just be prepared for some wet weather going into the back end of next week. Here's our 3 things we'll need to know. It's going to be colder for tonight. We are looking for more sunshine this weekend, and then the quiet week, well, the next few days are going to stick around for us, but we are looking at some sunshine and some cloud cover and temperatures that are going to be above average for this time of year, which is around 28 degrees. You can see we're going to be close to about 10 degrees above average. Now, taking a look at our traffic, around 12:18 for Park Street, still rather smooth as we're getting into the rest of our 5 o'clock rush hour for our Friday. And along the Beltline as well, outside of the connecting ramps, things are rather smooth for us as we continue into our rush hour. That's going to do it for weather and for traffic. Let's go ahead and send it back to you guys.
Julian, thank you. And coming up, we'll introduce you to Jude, an 11-year-old piano prodigy, and how an act of kindness changed his life forever. Stay with us.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Greenhut, the CEO of Plexiderm. And if you haven't tried Plexiderm, we've created the best offer yet with our New Year's Plexiderm 10-minute challenge. All it takes is 10 minutes to reduce the appearance of under eye bags, wrinkles, and crow's feet. Even the 11 lines between your eyes are visibly gone in minutes. Plexiderm works so well that celebrities in Hollywood and people just like you feel years younger in minutes. This is why I'm letting people try it for only $14.95 this New Year at plexidermtrial.com.
So I've had under eye bags for a very long time, and it sucks. I have spent so much money on tons of eye creams, eye gels. Finally, I tried something called Plexiderm, and I'm not joking. It works. When I do a collage and everything is done, it looks amazing. That is exactly how Plexiderm makes me feel. I put it on my face, and somehow, some way, I look together, which is amazing. I'm Jackie, and I took the Plexiderm 10-minute challenge, and so should you.
I'm Neela. I'm 61 years old. I'm a professional personal trainer. It's so important to be in good health and to be fit and take care of yourself. How it makes you feel inside is amazing. And yet, when you look in the mirror, what you see necessarily isn't what you feel inside. Plexiderm, seriously, honest to God, it's amazing. There's nothing there, like the bags are gone.
The instant results are from naturally based silicates found in shale rock. Once applied, your skin tightens and firms, rapidly reducing the appearance of under eye bags and wrinkles in minutes. This new year is the best time to try Plexiderm at our starter price of only $14.95. So if under eye bags make you look tired or feel older, take action this new year and see that younger looking you. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Attention mothers, did you take Tylenol or other acetaminophen pain-relieving products while pregnant? Recent evidence suggests children whose mothers took Tylenol while pregnant may be more likely to develop autism. Other acetaminophen products at risk include Excedrin, NyQuil, Dayquil, and other store-brand pain relievers. Children with autism have a hard time interacting with others. Those on the spectrum usually begin exhibiting social symptoms by the time they're 8 to 10 months old. Call now for a free confidential consultation.
Please call 800-379-7867.
Get up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of furniture and mattresses must go. Lowest prices around on TV consoles, recliners, bar stools, sofas, mattresses, and lots more. Get the deal of a lifetime on clearance, one-of-a-kinds, scratch and dents, and more. Stores are packed with merchandise that must go. Up to 80% off at the huge inventory reduction sale on now at Slumberland Furniture. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, here's a story you have to see and hear to believe. A lesson in hidden talents and the joy of discovery.
Vladimir Duthier shares the story of 11-year-old piano prodigy Jude and his musical journey.
To say this Colorado boy is a piano prodigy would not be enough. That's 11-year-old Jude, who has autism. One day, he just sat down at the family's electric keyboard, and this is what came out. Jude could listen to any music and figure out how to play it immediately. It was as if he had been taking lessons for years. But Jude has a different explanation.
I was inspired. I was inspired by God.
Jude was featured in a local TV report which caught the attention of professional piano tuner Bill Magnuson. Saying Jude had Mozart-level talent, Magnuson used his father's inheritance to buy the youngster a grand piano, and here it is, arriving in the family's home. An act of kindness that has changed his life.
And that is coming from a whole total stranger who never knew him but just decided to help him in that grand style. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yes.
Jude and his father Isaiah Kufi told us he now plans to play every day and is learning to read music.
I never stop.
Always on and on and on and on. Yeah.
3 hours a day.
A divine talent, which his family hopes will ensure him a brighter future. Vladimir Duthier, CBS News.
He is amazing.
Incredible.
Jude has played concerts at the local children's hospital where his family hopes he will inspire other children with special needs.
More positive news on Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin tonight. The team says he is breathing on his own and he was able to talk after having his breathing tube removed overnight.
Now, he actually FaceTimed with the team this morning, saying to his fellow players and coaches, "Love you boys." The 24-year-old went into cardiac arrest, of course, on the football field on Monday night in the game against the Bengals, but was quickly resuscitated with CPR and defibrillation.
The real next steps are allowing him to continue to get better. Again, we're still focused on the day-to-day.
I think putting that helmet back on was a really good thing for our team. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't say, some people are going to be changed forever.
Well, last night, the NFL said Monday night's game won't be rescheduled. The league now finalizing a playoff schedule. The Bills will take on the New England Patriots, their final regular season game on Sunday.
And we're back with a final check of your forecast when we return.
It's Steinhaffel's winter mattress sale. Nestle in for a good night's sleep on a new Tempur-Pedic mattress. You'll sleep soundly when you pay only $45 per month with Steinhaffel's 72-month financing. Tempur-Pedic mattresses are designed to make aches and pains a thing of the past by relieving pressure points and supporting you as no other mattress can. The winter mattress sale, only at Steinhaffel's and Steinhaffels.com. Relax, it's Steinhaffel's.
There's nothing like volunteering at the fire department.
There's nothing like hitting the waves.
But with my moderate to severe eczema, it hasn't always been easy.
Since my skin was so irritated and itchy.
And even worse with all my gear on.
Now, I'm staying ahead of my eczema.
There's a power inside all of us to live our passion. And Dupixent works on the inside to help heal your skin from within. It helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema. So adults can have long-lasting, clearer skin and fast itch relief. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor.
Healing from within is a powerful thing.
Ask your eczema specialist how Dupixent can help heal your skin from within.
Lake Ridge may be a new name, but it isn't a new bank. It's one built on over a century of community commitment. One equipped with all the knowledge and resources of 145 collective years of experience. Monona Bank and State Bank of Cross Plains are coming together as one. As Lake Ridge Bank, we're doing more together for you.
Brothers Maine has been family-owned since 1938. Some of us were born into this family, and others chose to join through the years. And we know you can't replace family, but you can replace appliances, and Brothers Maine is here for you when one breaks down. Our in-house team has delivered ranges to washers to refrigerators to hectic households in a pinch, oftentimes the next day. Just because an appliance breaks down doesn't mean you have to. We're not big box. We're Brothers Maine, and we want you to feel like family here.
Julian's back. One final check of the forecast.
Well, we're finally going to see some sun. I know I promised it for today. We had little slivers, but we are looking for the cloud cover to finally break at least a bit more once we get into our Saturday afternoon. Some clouds will start to return as we get into our Sunday, however. But it's going to be quiet, and temperatures will be into the upper 30s as well as we get into next week. But we are watching for next week's system that could bring in some wet weather.
All right, Julian, thank you. Thanks for joining us. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next.